The king encouraged service as he acknowledged that it is a time of real hardship for many during the holiday broadcast. King Charles is at the center of a royal holiday tradition for the second time. Continuing the tradition of the British monarch giving a speech that is broadcast on Christmas Day, King Charles's pre-recorded address was shown at 3 p.m. local time on Monday. This year, the king delivered the message from Buckingham Palace. King Charles, 75, centered his speech on service to others as he acknowledged that it is a difficult time for many families. Over this past year, my heart has been warmed by countless examples of the imaginative ways in which people are caring for one another, going the extra mile to help those around them simply because they know it is the right thing to do, at work and at home, within and across communities, he said. My wife and I were delighted when hundreds of representatives of that selfless army of people, volunteers who serve their communities in so many ways and with such distinction, were able to join us in Westminster Abbey for the coronation earlier this year. They are an essential backbone of our society. Their presence meant so much to us both and emphasized the meaning of coronation itself, above all, a call to us all to serve one another, to love and care for all. Service also lies at the heart of the Christmas story, the birth of Jesus who came to serve the whole world, showing us by his own example how to love our neighbor as ourselves. The monarch continued, "Throughout the year, my family have witnessed how people of all ages are making a difference to their communities. This is all the more important at a time of real hardship for many when we need to build on existing ways to support others less fortunate than ourselves." King Charles also mentioned it is a time of increasingly tragic conflict around the world. "I pray that we can also do all in our power to protect each other," he said. The words of Jesus seem more than ever relevant: do to others as you would have them do to you. Such values are universal, drawing together our Abrahamic family of 5 religions, and other belief systems, across the Commonwealth and wider world. They remind us to imagine ourselves in the shoes of our neighbors, and to seek their good as we would our own. King Charles concluded, "So on this Christmas Day my heart and my thanks go to all who are serving one another, all who are caring for our common home, and all who see and seek the good of others, not least the friend we do not yet know. In this way, we bring out the best in ourselves. I wish you a Christmas of peace on earth and goodwill to all, today and always." For the first time this year, King Charles delivered his remarks beside a living tree, marking his ongoing environmental efforts. According to Buckingham Palace, the Christmas tree is decorated with natural and sustainable decorations, with some highlights including hand-turned wood, pine cones, brown glass, dried oranges, and paper. It will be replanted. The tradition of the monarch's Christmas message was started by King Charles's great-grandfather King George V in 1932. While the speech was first broadcast over radio, Queen Elizabeth appeared in the first televised broadcast in 1957. "She was a one-take wonder, she was extraordinary," said a former palace staffer. For many Britons, including the royal family, it is a staple of their holiday to gather around the TV to watch the speech. However, the annual broadcast did not take place in 1936, when King Edward VIII abdicated, 1938, when King George VI did not give an address, and 1969, when Queen Elizabeth opted for a written message instead after feeling that between Charles's investiture as the Prince of Wales and the documentary Royal Family, there had been enough television appearances for 1 year. King Charles gave his first Christmas address last year just months after the death of his mother, and much of his speech centered around Queen Elizabeth's memory. "I am standing here in this exquisite chapel of St. George at Windsor Castle, so close to where my beloved mother, the late Queen, is laid to rest with my dear father," the king said in the 2022 speech. "I am reminded of the deeply touching letters, cards, and messages which so many of you have sent my wife and myself, and I cannot thank you enough for the love and sympathy you have shown our whole family." He continued, "Christmas is a particularly poignant time for all of us who have lost loved ones. We feel their absence at every familiar turn of the season and remember them in each cherished tradition." King Charles continued his speech, "In the much-loved carol O Little Town of Bethlehem, we sing of how in thy dark streets shineth the everlasting light. My mother's belief in the power of that light was an essential part of her faith in God, but also her faith in people, and it is one which I share with my whole heart. It is a belief in the extraordinary ability of each person to touch, with goodness and compassion, the lives of others, and to shine a light in the world around them. This is the essence of our community and the very foundation of our society." He then praised the selfless dedication of those in the armed forces, emergency personnel, healthcare workers, and public services professionals such as teachers. I particularly want to pay tribute to all those wonderfully kind people who so generously give food or donations, or that most precious commodity of all, their time, to support those around them in greatest need, together with the many charitable organizations which do such extraordinary work in the most difficult circumstances, he said. On Monday, King Charles and Queen Camilla led the royal family in their annual tradition of going to church on Christmas Day. They attended the service at the Church of St. Mary Magdalene in Norfolk, near the royal residence of Sandringham. The British royals traditionally gather at Sandringham each Christmas. On December 24, they have afternoon tea before exchanging inexpensive gag gifts. After their church outing on Christmas, they head back to Sandringham House for a traditional feast of turkey before watching the monarch's Christmas speech broadcast on TV.